Welcome to a new episode of the Straight Wrestling Voices of the Indies podcast. I'm your host, Morbo, and with me, as always, everyone's favorite US independent wrestling fan, Sebastian.
Thank you very much, Morbo, and thank you to all our listeners, and welcome to this week's episode of Straight Wrestling Voices of the Indies. And our guest today is a voice of the Indies. He is a voice of the deathmatch world, especially. He's known for his work for ICW No Holds Barred, for his work for ETU, and we are very happy that he made the time to be our guest today. And with that, I would like to quote Danny DeManto because our guest today is motherfucking Bobby Banks.
Hey, y'all. Good to be here.
So, for the people who don't know who you are, who is Bobby Banks?
Who is Bobby Banks? Oh, gosh, that's a good question. There are probably a lot of different answers to that question. But first and foremost, Bobby Banks is a fan of independent professional wrestling. And even though I've gotten a little bit more involved in the action, so to speak, I am, have been, and will always be primarily a wrestling fan.
Can you tell us how you get into wrestling as a fan, but also as an announcer?
Sure. I've been watching wrestling since I was a kid. I started off watching WCW, NWA in the early 90s, and just became fascinated or enthralled by the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And, he sort of hooked me in and watched it growing up. I sort of drifted away from wrestling in my early adulthood and found it again during the pandemic, as many, I think, independent wrestling fans did during the pandemic, that we watched wrestling on streaming platforms. The platform that I found most interesting was IWTV, independentwrestling.tv, and that is where I found promotions like GCW initially, and also ICW No Holds Barred. And then I got involved on Twitter. I just am extremely prolific on Twitter, or as not as much anymore, but definitely was, and was noticed on Twitter. And then I started attending shows live and in the front row every time. And then ICW No Holds Barred Volume 57, I believe it was, Danny pulled me out of the crowd and asked me to announce the show. And I did all right, and then went to England and Boston and ultimately Japan, Chattanooga, all over the place, and just kept doing it.
Did you have some sort of training or preparation to become a wrestler? Or do you have an announcing related background in other areas?
No, not at all. It was an accident. I have no training whatsoever. Before I started doing ring announcing for ICW No Holds Barred, I was doing ring announcing for ETU, Expect the Unexpected. It is a promotion that is run by Ryan Huber, but the world probably knows him better as the motherfucking Struggles. Struggles did commentary for ICW, did commentary before ICW with GCW and other promotions, and is one of the, in my opinion, one of the greatest voices in the history of independent professional wrestling. He just noticed me screaming at a show one time for the Atrocity Cruel and said, "Hey, Bob, you want to do ring announcing?" I was like, I've never set foot in a professional wrestling ring before. And then I was like, sure, yeah, I'll do it. And I started doing it for ETU. That's a true story. I had never set foot in a professional wrestling ring before I got in the ring at ETU to announce the show.
You have some role models that like inspire you in your way. How do you do the ring announcing?
It all comes from just being a fan as a kid. So WCW, they would bring in, for special matches, they would bring in a very famous ring announcer, not just in professional wrestling, but in boxing history, Michael Buffer. And as you can tell, I got sort of a Southern accent. So my Southern accent tweaks it a little bit. But when I was a kid, like the big match ring announcer was always Michael Buffer. They had another ring announcer in WCW, Gary Michael Capetta. I love him, but I don't sound like him at all. But I guess sort of when I was a kid and starting out being a ring announcer as an adult, I always envisioned Michael Buffer as the voice of announcing.
The sentence that most associate with you is, "It is a great day to be alive." How did you come up with this? Is there a story behind it?
Yes. It is a great day to be alive. Excuse me. Just thinking about it makes me a little emotional. But yes, I've struggled with a variety of issues in my life, but mental illness is one that I have struggled with. Substance abuse as well, but the main thing is just depression. And Righteous Jesse was the ring announcer before me at ICW No Holds Barred. He is the one that actually started saying that that phrase. And I was just talking with Jesse before I started doing ring announcing for ICW No Holds Barred, and telling Jesse a little bit about my story, my struggles. And I've also talked with these struggles about this, and they're like, "Yeah, you should say that at the beginning of every show, because you really mean it." So I just started saying it, and it stuck. My German is not as I studied a little bit of German in college back in the day, but es ist ein wundervoller Tag.
It's
wonderful.
It's pretty good German.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a beautiful, uplifting sentence compared to the violence that's about to happen. So it's always such a joy to open the show, an ICW show, of this sentence. I love it. Absolutely love it.
There are a number of wrestlers that have talked to me about this, but it's very one phrase that is often used in the deathmatch community is "no deathmatch, no life." It's sort of a celebration of life. I think professional deathmatch wrestling, and I think it fits nicely. Actually, it is a great day to be alive.
As a lot of people associate you with ICW No Holds Barred, you already talked about how pretty much Danny DeMonto pulled you out of the crowd to do like ring announcing. But how did you get in contact? So did you know Danny DeMonto before that? Were you already in contact, or how did this happen?
I knew him as a fan. Danny is a great professional wrestler. That's an understatement. Danny is an extremely great professional wrestler. And he was involved in a number of storylines that I, as a fan, found very compelling. So I started going to shows sort of in character, if you will, like in a suit and in the front row. It was volume 43. And there was one show before that, Pit Fighter X15. And I just became a fan of Danny's. So I would talk to him after the show and interact with him as a fan ringside. In many cases, Danny is very, very fun to hate. Sometimes I love to hate him. But he also he is really good in the ring at evoking sympathy. And I was able to see a lot of myself in Danny, and became a fan that way, and that led to a friendship.
Do you remember the first ICW No Holds Barred shows? I think you already touched on it earlier, that you were part of as a ring announcer, and how was the experience?
Yeah, I do remember the first one. It was, unfortunately, there is no more world famous H2O Wrestling Center in Williamstown, New Jersey, but that's where the show was. It was volume 57. It was right before the trip to the UK for 58 and 59. I remember being, just absolutely sort of terrified, but I was also very invested in, at the time, the Killdozer, formerly known as Matt Tremont. Cruel had killed him it was the death of Matt Tremont. It was a Halloween production put on by IWTV. At the time, Matt Tremont was the independent wrestling world champion, and Cruel wanted the title. My personal Lord and Savior, the Atrocity Cruel, wanted that title, and so he threw Matt Tremont in a grave and then lit the grave on fire, killing Matt Tremont, and then resurrected the body of Matt Tremont as the Killdozer. And that was the show where Killdozer defeated Hoodfoot for the ICW American Deathmatch World Championship. And that was my first show as a ring announcer for ICW.
You talked about the special relationship that you have with Danny D'Amanto, and now you also mentioned Cruel, and this is why I would like to know, speaking of special relationships, what comes to your mind when you hear the names Cruel and Poondog?
Poondog! Poondog will hunt. Let me tell you something. Well, I got to separate the two. Let me talk about let me talk about Cruel first. Cruel is special attraction. I've never seen anyone like Cruel. I've never experienced anything like Cruel. And if you're out there in the world of independent professional wrestling and you have not yet experienced the Atrocity Cruel, you've got to find the opportunity to experience the Atrocity Cruel. I just fascinated, not afraid. A lot of times people ask me about that. What Cruel is such a gigantic force, and many people find themselves feeling fear in the face of Cruel. I've never had that reaction. I'm always drawn toward Cruel, and I think it's just a firm grip that he has on my soul. I was a fan the very first moment I saw him on IWTV, the very first time I saw him in person. He's just, there's nothing, there's no one like him anywhere in the world, in my opinion. That is also true for Poondog. There's nothing like Poondog anywhere in the world. Poondog and I have sort of at first I was repulsed, I would say, by Poondog. Met him over at the world famous TWE Arena there in Red Bank, Tennessee. But, Poondog grew on me. It's definitely an acquired taste, that Poondog. And just over time, learned to love him. And he sure does love me. Let me tell you what. Doesn't matter how many people are in the building. If I'm there and if Poondog is there, Poondog will find a way to get to me. And I just, have learned to love it.
With the TWE Arena that you just mentioned, the TWE Arena in Red Bank, Tennessee, there seems to be a special relationship between you and the the building pretty much. What makes the ICW No Holds Barred shows in the TWE Arena extra special in your opinion?
There's something about Southern violence. There's a T-shirt out now. I'm on the T-shirt. Full disclosure, but it's a cool T-shirt. You should get it. Check it out at the ICW shop. But there's something about Southern violence. Anytime we go over there to TWE and Tennessee, the people have a special ability to suspend their disbelief, and they become very bloodthirsty. And the wrestlers always give it to them. They quench that thirst. So I think it's just a really good fit between wrestlers who love to entertain fans and fans who love to be entertained. But yeah, there's nothing like the TWE Arena anywhere, especially nothing like those media center chairs. Anytime we go there, the blood is always significantly more than anywhere else. The glass starts flying and motherfuckers start dying there at the TWE Arena. And it's always a great time.
And speaking of TWE, can you explain your special relationship with banana pudding and why we have heard you talk about it during wrestling shows in the TWE Arena multiple times?
Well, I love food, and I especially love delicious desserts. And over there at TWE, in a similar way, in the same way that they love blood, they also love sweets. You know, they're really good at making desserts over there. Shout out to Kay, my main squeeze Kay, the chef in the kitchen there. But she made this delicious banana pudding one time, and they don't have banana pudding every time I go there. They always have something different. Like this last time, it was the Coca-Cola chocolate cake, and it was delicious. I think maybe the Coca-Cola cake might be my personal favorite, but the banana pudding is delicious. There was Kay made a dessert called the punch bowl cake. It was sort of like banana pudding, but it had other fruits in it as well. Some strawberries were in it. Angel food cake, and that delicious, I don't know what it is, custard or whatever it is. They put in the pudding to make it so creamy and smooth. But yeah, nothing beats those desserts there in Chattanooga. And there are other places in Chattanooga that have delicious desserts. I don't know exactly why that is. I think in the South they just do desserts better than they do other places.
I don't even know if you know this, because I can absolutely agree with you as someone who has been to the TWE Arena multiple times in 2023 and 2024. But the last time that I was there for SCI 2024, me and my friend Drew, we stayed at Kay's house for 2 days.
You stayed at her house?
Yeah. And,
oh my God!
We were the first ones to try the cupcakes that she made for this weekend. We were pretty much there when they were made.
Now I'm jealous. I haven't been to Kay's house.
And it was a situation where I wasn't really sure if I would make it to SCI work-wise, and then I only knew like 3 weeks before, and then it was all a bit difficult to find places to stay, and then we found like the hotel that everyone stays at during SCI, the Heritage Inn, but only like for 3 days, and then because I remembered that Kay said the year before, if you ever the place to stay, just call me.
Oh wow!
And this is how we ended up there. So shout out to Kay if you hear this. I think we all love you. Everyone who knows her loves her. So
yes, I love her so much.
I can absolutely agree. This was also not planned, but it's nice to talk about that, and I didn't expect that. So that's a great surprise. The other promotion that you are known for outside of ICW No Holds Barred, and you already mentioned this as well, is Expect the Unexpected, ETU.
Yes.
How was your start there? And how was it similar different or maybe even directly linked to your start in ICW No Holds Barred?
Well, like I mentioned, I never planned to be a ring announcer. It's something that's been in the back of my mind, and as a kid, sort of liked to pretend to be the ring announcer, sort of the Michael Buffer voice, if you will. I don't have a voice like Michael Buffer. I just sort of like to pretend. And struggles, I don't know how this. I went to Summer Madness. This was back in it would have been July 2023. I went up there to Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, world famous mecca of professional wrestling there. And I remember Marcus Mathers winning the title there at Summer Madness. But yeah, I think struggles just heard me screaming. I'm a very colorful character. I was wearing all sorts of different colors of suits to the shows, and he sort of saw it before I did. He just sent me a message on Instagram one day and was like, "Hey Bob, got a show coming up here in September. You want to be the ring announcer?" And I was like, "Well, I've never set foot in a professional wrestling ring before. I don't know anything about how wrestling actually works. I'm just a fan. But sure, yeah, give me the microphone." Sure, yeah, I'll do it. And I did it. And, it wasn't great at first, but I don't think it was terrible at first either. And I just kept getting better and better and better. It was, that was something that I really enjoyed. Ring announcing is very difficult for me, or it's getting easier now, but it certainly was very difficult for me. And ring announcing ETU shows is especially difficult because Struggles puts together such a great show for the fans, not just the fans in the building, but the fans watching at home all around the world on IWTV. There's all sorts of production elements that ETU introduces that other promotions, don't focus on as much. The video packages, the graphics, and just coordinating all of that with the ring announcing is a little trickier than most promotions. And so I really enjoyed working on it. It was like it became a hobby where I was able to get better and improve over time. But yeah, it was nostalgia ultra. There was a hurricane chasing. I remember driving up there. There was a hurricane chasing me up the coast, the East Coast. That show was at the world famous H2O Wrestling Center. And yeah, I got in the ring and I was terrified, but did all right and just kept getting better and better and better. I love ETU. It's so much fun. The stories are so good. The production value is there. To me, ETU is the pinnacle of independent professional wrestling. Just really enjoy being a part of it.
ETU's home base, so to speak, is the Mecca in Ridgefield Park. What is unique about this venue and what makes it different from, for example, the TWE Arena or other venues that you are working in regularly, like, for example, the Hard Ballroom in New York?
There is a ton of professional wrestling up in the tri-state area up near New York. The Mecca is it's almost like the back porch of New York City. New York is not too far away. It's sort of near the Meadowlands, where the Giants and I guess the Jets play there as well. Sorry, Jets fans. And there's just so much wrestling that takes place at that building, in that area. The fans that come to the shows are regular wrestling fans, and they've seen a lot of really, really good independent professional wrestling. Their expectations are higher than those of fans in other areas. And I think that's what really makes the Mecca special, is there's so much wrestling there. Anytime wrestlers come to the Mecca, they want to level it up a little bit to really show the world what they can do, because they know it's that stage that you can be seen on around the world. So yeah, I think that's what makes it special.
both in ICW No Holds Barred and in ETU, you are best known for your particular style of clothing, especially wearing like the almost like iconic white and also blue suit. Is this also your fashion style privately, or is this something that you started doing as a part of your character, so to speak, as a ring announcer?
It was something that I started doing as a fan first. So like if you go back and watch volume 43, for instance, you'll see me wearing the original white suit that became not so white over time. But it was white at volume 43. It's something I started doing as a fan. Just I was working on my sobriety and just felt inspired to experiment creatively with being a fan of professional wrestling. And so I sort of created this character and started wearing the suits and just going head first into the deep end of being a wrestling fan is what that was. And just kept wearing the suits, and I kept getting more and more, collecting them over time when I became a ring announcer. But I had them as a fan first. I don't wear them in my private life. No, it's just wrestling.
Maybe also talking about the character that you just mentioned. While most ring announcers rather like to stay in the background, you are among the most distinguishable independent wrestling announcers today. Would you say that this is kind of like your philosophy, that an announcer should be an active, like recognizable character as well?
Oh, okay. So this is very controversial. And many would say that I'm a horrible ring announcer because I am a little bit flashier. But this goes back to what I said in the very beginning. I don't think of myself as a ring announcer first. I didn't start wearing the suits as a ring announcer. When I am in the ring announcing a wrestling show, I am still first and foremost a fan. And I will never be able to completely put that fan hat down. You know, I'll always be wearing that hat. And as a fan of professional wrestling, I get very excited. So yes, I do. I guess it is a philosophical view of what a fan should be. Not all wrestling fans are very excited. Some are more reserved and polite, but I'm not as a fan. And so I carried that into the ring with me when I got in the ring to be a ring announcer. Some would say that makes me a horrible ring announcer, that good ring announcers should make sure that the talent is always in the spotlight. And I try to do that as I'm getting better at that. I think as I go on, I try to do that more and more with my introductions. But I will never be able to put my fan hat down, so to speak. It will always be on. And I get excited as a professional wrestling fan. And so you will see me excited in that ring because I'm announcing as a fan, fan first and foremost. But yeah, I think that is sort of an argument that a lot of people have about folks in the ring who are not wrestlers, like referees, officials, and also ring announcers, that they should be not the center of attention. And I don't think in a ring where you've got Bobby Banks and Hoodfoot. Hoodfoot is going to get the attention no matter how loud Bobby is. No matter how loud Bobby looks, Hoodfoot will get the attention. The American Deathmatch ace, John Wayne Murdoch, I'm not going to steal his spotlight. So why not dial it up to 1,000? You know? I think it works really well in ICW, and in ETU, that's where I've really tried to work more and more on featuring the talent, especially talent that has not been seen as much on IWTV. We have a lot of really great professional wrestlers that are early on in their career, and I've tried to focus my announcing on really featuring them, and I think I'm getting better at it.
My last question before Morbo will ask you what is next for you is something related to what you already touched on briefly in the introduction. would you say that, given what we just talked about, for you, maybe also even others within the community, deathmatch wrestling is almost kind of a philosophy, maybe a way of expressing yourself, or even kind of a safe space?
Yes, I think that is absolutely true. Danny often says this, that the deathmatch wrestling community, it's about accepting people. It's really about love, in my opinion. Gosh, this too makes me a little emotional just to think about it. But being a part of that community has really taught me a lot about love, about how to love myself. And ultimately, I think about how to love other people. So I'm really looking forward to the future of love in my life, and just will be forever grateful for the love that the deathmatch wrestling community in particular has shown me. But yeah, I do think that there is something special about deathmatch wrestling. It is part of the philosophy of deathmatch wrestling. It's about not hiding anything, letting it all hang out there, and then not just accepting it, but loving it, embracing it, being proud of it. And that's why I love it so much.
Not that long ago, you vaguely hinted at changes coming your way. Of course, you don't have to tell us exactly what is going on, but can you outline a little bit what kind of effect it will or could have on your career within the wrestling business?
Yes, well, I have an exclusive update for you all. Bobby Banks is stepping down from the chains. I have recently started dating someone, and I love him dearly and want to spend more time with him. And so I'm going to be stepping away from ICW No Holds Barred for at least a while. I would say expect the unexpected, though. You never know when Bob is going to show up. Be it at ETU, at ICW, could be GCW, could be another promotion. I will be back. You can't keep me away too long. But for now, I'm going to be stepping down from the chains to focus more on my personal life. I'll still be doing ETU, though.
Let's say
Expect the unexpected.
you will come back at some point. Are there still promotions you would like to announce? Maybe.
In as far as deathmatch professional wrestling goes, there is not a promotion, in my opinion, in the world, in the whole fucking world, that beats the chains. So the fact that I've been involved with ICW No Holds Barred, I've already been to the top of the mountain. I've seen the view. I don't need to go down to the middle. So in terms of coming back to deathmatch wrestling, when I do come back, I will be coming back home to the chains. There are a lot of great independent professional wrestling promotions out there. I would love to go to TWE shows more. I think that I'd love to go to Action Wrestling, their promotion down in Georgia. I have not been to an Action show in Georgia. I've been to one in New Jersey. I've been to one in Philadelphia as well, in Pennsylvania, but I've not been to one in their home down there in outside of Atlanta, Rome, Georgia. I'd like to go down there for an Action show. You mentioned SCI. I'd love to see that. I've never been to SCI before. Would be a lot of fun. There are other promotions throughout the United States that I have not visited. New Texas is a promotion that I've become really interested in on IWTV, and I would love to go to a New Texas show. I would also love to go out west for something. It used to be Hood Slam that I wanted to go to, but I think Hood Slam is maybe they're taking a break as well. But I think West Coast indie wrestling is an experience to be had. I would love to go to a GCW show in Los Angeles, for example. I've not had that experience yet. So there are lots of experiences in independent professional wrestling I would like to have that I have not yet had. When it comes to deathmatch wrestling, there is nowhere I would rather be than in those chains.
But you mentioned that you will be at the ETU show, and the next ETU show will be Sunday, December 7th, Nowhere to Hide. What can you tell our listeners about this upcoming show?
Oh, as always, expect the unexpected. The Struggles is a genius. There are times when I am a little curious about him. Yeah, it's almost like he is from the future. And from that position in the future, via his time machine, he is able to orchestrate the what we view as the history of independent professional wrestling. But he's a genius, and there's more genius to come. December 7th, definitely tune in if you're in the area. You got to come to the show to see what's going to happen. I would say expect the unexpected. The Expected are a faction that they've been trying to take over ETU for a while now, all the way back to the time of Brandon Kirk, the Rogue. The Rogue has since left the world of independent professional wrestling, but the Expected is his legacy in many ways, and they are still trying. Alec Price is involved with the Expected, as is Ikuto Kwan, the Concrete Dragon. And I think they're going to try yet again on December 7th to take over ETU. But my guys, the Killionaires Club, are standing in their way. And especially when you got a legitimate 6'9" professional athlete in Pretty Boy Smooth, I don't see how you get through that. So we'll see. There's nowhere to hide for sure. Expect the unexpected.
Hey, Bobby, that's it. We're at the end of the interview. And as always, the stage is yours. You can plug and promote anything you want.
Oh, gosh, I don't really have anything to promote for myself. You can follow me on the platforms if you want. It's like Bob with a little spinner in the middle, BOBXQOQ. So any way you turn it, it's Bob. But if I had to promote anything, it would be promotions that I've already been a part of. ETU, I just don't feel like it gets better than that. You get a great mix of new talent that you've never seen before. We have something for everyone at ETU. One thing that I've been watching a lot lately is women's professional wrestling, and the ETU women's division is really on the rise. Check that out. I love Mike Santana, our champion. Born Nasty. Can't wait to see him again. But also ICW No Holds Barred has some really big shows coming up. One in Detroit, one in Indianapolis, and recently announced their ICW No Holds Barred is making its return to Atlantic City for Volume 90. Be sure to check that out.
Thank you very much for coming on the show, Bobby. For me, it's an absolute honor. You're my favorite announcer in the indie scene by far.
Oh, gosh, that can't be true.
It is true.
Thank you.
And also, please never delete your Twitter account. You're one of the few reasons I still have Twitter. It's so fun.
Yeah. I like to entertain the folks on the Twitter for sure.
So thanks again. Thank you very much, Bobby, for coming on the show. It was an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you.
Thank you for having me. This was a great talk. Really looking forward to talking more sometime.
Thank you very much, as always, to you, Morbo. As always, to you, Florian, but especially to you, Bobby, for taking the time. As Morbo already said, we are all huge fans of you, and we wanted to have you on the show for quite some time. You were on the list for quite some time. So it's a great thing that we were able to make that happen. Thank you very much. And thank you to all our listeners. And I hope you will listen to us in the future again. Goodbye.